Here at Chat Sports, we push out the latest NBA news and rumors on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, but we also have team-specific channels as we continue to grow here at Chat Sports. Lakers Report just surpassed 36,000 subscribers. You can subscribe by going to youtube.com/LakersTV. Warriors Today is getting closer and closer to 18,000 subscribers. Make sure you smash that subscribe button or go to youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Mavericks Today, north of 13,000 subscribers. We pick back up on that channel. We're going to continue to push out videos, so go to youtube.com/MavsTV and subscribe to that one. Lastly, Boston Celtics Today. This is a channel that has been flourishing with the crazy offseason that has been with the Boston Celtics. We're north of 5,000 subscribers. Let's get to 6. Help us out, youtube.com/CelticsTV. Let's kick off this mailbag with this question from Anthony Taylor, $5 super chat. Hi, any Spurs news or trade news? First of all, I got a drink because of that $5 super chat. So in my mock draft, I put out Alperen Sengun going to the Spurs. They've had a lot of luck with international draft prospects. Once we figure out where the lottery lies and which teams pick where, we'll have a better idea of where the Spurs are in that pecking order in the NBA draft. We'll have a better idea as to who they might select because it all changes with the order. But this is a big offseason for the Spurs, Anthony. They have to get back to playoff contention. And look, they haven't been the same team since that trio of Manu, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan left, as well as Kawhi Leonard. Greg Popovich, I think he can get it right. They certainly need some young pieces, though. They're probably going to let DeMar Rosen walk. Obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge left. I think that's a signal they're starting the rebuilding process in San Antonio. $15 super chat from Ravon. That means I have to take a shot on today's show. Now that Kemba is gone, could the C's fill their point guard opening with a sign and trade for Lowry? Maybe Smart and Thompson with pieces going out. So in theory, this would be a good idea, Ravon, to do a sign and trade. The only problem is Kyle Lowry is a free agent. So he is free to go elsewhere, wherever he pleases. So he doesn't have to sign a contract with the Raptors to be a part of that sign and trade. Now, we saw something similar to this back a couple seasons ago with the Sixers and Jimmy Butler. They signed him to a contract, and they sent him to Miami Heat, and they got Josh Richardson back. Yes, disastrous trade. So maybe something like that happens. And to include Marcus Smart and Tristan Thompson, from the Raptors standpoint, instead of losing Kyle Lowry for nothing, they get back Marcus Smart and Tristan Thompson. I actually really, really like that. There's a possibility that could happen. I would put the chances pretty low, but I do like the thought process. We might as well give you a job here at Chat Sports because those are the types of ideas that we kind of come up with for our segments. So good stuff there from Ravon, and because he super chatted us $15, I got to take a shot. Let's go to this question from Jamie Sapoznikov, hopefully I'm saying that right. Is there any chance the Mavs can get Masai and Kenny Atkinson? I like Kenny Atkinson as a coach. I was somewhat surprised that the Brooklyn Nets moved off of him. That reeked of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving input. He did such a good job of putting the Nets in a position to where they are now to be able to compete for NBA championships. Now, obviously, Sean Marks was wheeling and dealing to make all of those trades, but Kenny Atkinson, as a coaching candidate for teams across the NBA, I think they have to look into him for sure. Masai Ujiri, I guess his contract is up. He's probably the best NBA executive right now in the NBA. If you can get both of those guys, I think the Mavericks are getting back to consistent playoff success. Sai Ukunobi, what should the Bulls do in free agency? If Lonzo Ball doesn't re-sign with the New Orleans Pelicans, I think that'd be a pretty smart trade. Sign and trade or signing for the Chicago Bulls. Yes, you have Kobe White. I like him. Maybe he can be a backup. But going into the NBA trade deadline, I loved Lonzo for the Bulls, that fit, that market position of need. So that's what I'd like for them to do. And Lauri Markkanen could walk because I think he has a player option. He's a restricted free agent. So we'll see what happens, but they're going to be busy, no doubt. Donnie Pels, what you think of SVG getting fired, and what does it mean for Zion? He's speaking of Stan Van Gundy. The hiring of Stan Van Gundy by David Griffin and the Pelicans organization after firing Alvin Gentry never made sense. You go from Alvin Gentry to Stan Van Gundy. They're very similar guys in terms of culture, in terms of accountability, and just as head coaches. Like, they're boomers, right? What the Pelicans need is a young, up-and-coming, energetic coach who gels a lot with the young players on this roster. And you have to make Zion Williamson very, very, very happy. He deserves to be involved in the input for looking for the next head coach. Say, if he wants Chauncey Billups, bring in Chauncey Billups. Whoever Zion wants, bring that coach in. So I think SVG, it was doomed to be a disaster right from the jump. I didn't like it because he didn't fit the direction of the franchise, which is a young up-and-coming team that's not quite ready to win yet. They have to learn how to win. I didn't like the hiring. When he decided to part ways with the Pelicans, it didn't surprise me at all. Just a kid from Akron, shout out to LeBron. He's in the chat right now. How many more years do we have of peak LeBron? So he's 36 years old right now. He's going to turn 37 in December. Before that high right ankle sprain, which definitely did affect him during the rest of the season, he was playing at an MVP level. I don't think you can dispute that. Like, LeBron was very, very good. He was averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25 points per game, 9 rebounds, 7-8 assists. He was phenomenal. So I think of peak LeBron, like last year's LeBron when he helped lead the Lakers to an NBA title, 3 or 4 years. He spends millions of dollars a year on his body, right? And who are the other athletes who do things like that? Russell Wilson never misses a game. LeBron James, producer Jeremy is saying Ronaldo. And those guys are always consistently available and rarely hurt. That injury that LeBron suffered, it was fluky. Solomon Hill fell into his leg in a very awkward way. LeBron is going to continue to be an elite player, in my opinion, for the next 3 to 4 years. How much longer do you think LeBron will be elite? He's called the king for a reason. Wild to think that he has been in the league since 2003. I was 11 years old at that point. Wild. Let me know a number figure for how many years you think LeBron is going to be elite. Matteo DiStefano, Dame to the Knicks for 3 first-round picks, and quickly, would this mean the Knicks are real championship contenders? So the Knicks have a bunch of picks over the next couple of years. I believe it's 5 first-round picks over the next 3 years. So the draft assets are there for the Knicks to give up something for Damian Lillard. I think it's them and the Sixers as the 2 best teams to really put together a trade package to bring Dame in. 3 first-round picks and Emmanuel Quickley. I think it could get it done. You honestly might have to throw in a Kevin Knox, maybe even an RJ Barrett to get Damian Lillard back. Look, he's one of the clutchest, one of the best, most efficient, and one of the most elite scorers in the NBA right now. He's in his early 30s, still has a lot of great years left. You're going to have to give up a hell of a package to bring him into MSG. If it happens, though, I'll be at MSG the Mecca, and I'll be going wild with y'all. Gary Sanderson, favorite second-round prospect that a lot of people don't know? It's a tough question. I mean, like, there are a bunch of guys who can go late in the first round who could realistically be like lottery selections. I'm looking at a guy in terms of like back half of the first round. I like Ayo Dosunmu. I think he's really good, and I just think he was an excellent player for the University of Illinois. In terms of second round guys, I'm kind of looking at my list here. There are a couple of players. Yeah, let me pull up my big board here to see who could go. Man, that kid from Old Dominion is really good. The shooter who you kind of saw make some noise in the NCAA tournament. So maybe a guy like that is going to be able to drop. But yeah, it's a tough question. Let me get back to you on that one. Sandro Fajardo, who should the Nets get? Are you talking an NBA free agency? I mean, they're pretty set. Like, if James Harden was healthy, if Kyrie Irving was healthy, man, I don't think anybody would have stopped them in the NBA playoffs. And we'll see what happens with the Brooklyn Nets as we record this during our live show on Friday. They're pretty set. Like, Landry Shamet is a good player. Joe Harris is also very good. Timothé Cabarrot, I think, is a good bench piece as well. Bruce Brown is also solid. He's going to be a free agent, but if you re-sign him for minimal money, that's pretty solid. I've been overwhelmingly surprised with what Blake Griffin has done, so I think the Nets are actually set, Sandra. Care Bear stare. All right, a little bit of a tongue twister there. I'm always down for that. Best guess on who will be the Celtics starting point guard next season. In-house, you're looking at guys like Marcus Smart or Peyton Pritchard. Those are guys on the roster who could take that spot. But Marcus Smart is going to be a free agent after next season, so he is still probably the most valuable trade asset on the roster now that Kemba Walker has left. Maybe they do like maybe they sign Kyle Lowry. Like that's a possibility. I don't think that Brad Stevens, who is very analytically driven and very smart, will go after a guy like Dennis Schroeder. But there are some pretty solid point guards who are going to be on the open market. If I'm the Celtics, I know I can win right now with Tatum and Brown. I'd probably try to go after Kyle Lowry. JP on sports. Can the Raptors get either Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, or Zion Williamson? I would put the chances of that very slim. Who do you give up? OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and picks? Maybe that gets it done for one of those guys, but we're talking about generational players in Beal, Dame, and Zion. It will take a massive, massive haul to get one of those guys. But for those of you who want to continue to ask me questions on Twitter and give me some trade scenarios, give me a follow on Twitter, DM me at Chase_senior. Dropper Popper. Thoughts on Cade to the Raptors? It'd be great. The Toronto Raptors, in addition to the Miami Heat, those two organizations, the two best player development factories across the league. Any player that goes there ends up really being successful. I mean, look at how the Raptors have developed players over the years, from Anunoby to Siakam to Fred VanVleet. Not only do they develop them, they identify them as well. Now, for the Raptors, you don't have to identify Cade. We know he's probably going to go number one. That's why I don't think he slides to the Raptors in the draft. So I don't think this happens. If it would, though, I mean, he would be a star. Rogue Brothers, always in the chat. What do you think of Kyle Kuzma taking the Lakers off of his bio and putting NBA champion? I think Kyle Kuzma's a stiff. He's making $13 million over the next couple of years. The Lakers don't have a lot of money to spend. In terms of assets and prime trade candidates, I would look to get off of Kyle Kuzma ASAP. He was disastrous in the NBA playoffs this year when the Lakers really needed somebody to step up without AD. He shied away from the occasion, and he wasn't good. So, too, was Dennis Schroeder. I wouldn't bring back both of those players. But Kuzma, I think this is what it comes down to. His confidence is shattered right now. And I think it's just best for the Lakers to move on from him and from him to dip from the Lakers. His best season, when he led the Lakers in scoring, the team was horrible that year. I don't think he gets back to that form, but maybe he could be a good stats, bad team guy. It's a really good question from Work of Art. Who will have a better rebuild, the Pistons or the Thunder? Because of the questions within the Pistons front office, they did just hire John Beeline for like an executive role or something like that within the front office. I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they are equipped with a Brinks truck of draft picks, first-round picks, over the next few years. It's actually kind of ridiculous what Sam Presti has done. They're going to have to trade away some of those picks. 19 first-rounders over the next 7 years, and I believe 15 first-rounders over the next 5 years. Like, that's wild. So just because of those draft assets, I'm going with OKC, but also Sam Presti is one of the better general managers across the league. Make sure you subscribe to get Chat Sports to 250,000 subscribers, because currently we're at 247,000 subscribers. Few ways for you to do that. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, you can hit that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're giving you mailbags. We're pushing out the latest NBA news and rumors. We come up with creative segments. People pay us money through Super Chats and we drink. We're doing it all here at Chat Sports. Nobody is doing what we're doing, so make sure you're subscribed. Anish Anand, if the Nets lose Game 7, who is your finals pick? So we're recording this during our live show on Friday, so Game 7 is actually going to be on Sunday. I like the Phoenix Suns. They swept the Denver Nuggets. I don't think Chris Paul is going to miss that many games, if any, in the Western Conference Finals. I think the Suns match up really nicely against either the Jazz or the Clippers. I just think they're rolling right now. They're playing the most beautiful basketball. So my finals pick is the Phoenix Suns right now. and Chris Paul finally gets a ring, which is great because I was hoping for Clayton Kershaw to get a ring in Major League Baseball. He did. Can we get Chris Paul a ring as well as the point guard? We'll see. I hope it happens. Another question coming in from 4Hyper 3-channel friend. He's been all over the chat today. Who is the best shooting guard in the NBA right now? Does Steph Curry slate as a shooting guard? Does Damian Lillard figure as a shooting guard? I mean, both of those guys obviously bring the ball up, but they play point guard and shooting guard. So one of those two guys. Klay Thompson sometimes plays shooting guard. He's in that equation as well and in that conversation because of his ability to make it rain. So you're looking at guys like that. If we want to go strict two guard traditional, because let's be honest, NBA positions are positionless nowadays, Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is the best shooting guard in the NBA currently. XTerT, you don't have your notifications on. Come on, man. You got to get those notifications on. Therefore, anytime we push out a video, you will be notified. Should the Mavericks trade for Kemba Walker? Well, if you're just joining us, and obviously you slept in today as we record this during our live show on Friday, you did not know that Kemba Walker has been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Al Horford. That's why you put on your notifications. Therefore, anytime we push out a video, you'll be notified. So don't be a fool. Turn those notifications on so that you are stayed up to date and you don't ask an outdated question. I do appreciate the question, though. Big Tex Burner 69. 69, good number. Chat Sports based in Texas, even better. Shout out to Texas, the Lone Star State. Now that the Celtics have already traded Kemba, who are the top teams the Mavs can trade Porzingis trash to? A lot of Porzingis hate there. Porzingis trash. Porzing trash. Very, very creative from Big Tex Burner 69. The Golden State Warriors make some sense. If you want to do like an Andrew Wiggins for Porzingis swap, both of their contracts are somewhat similar. So that could be a player-for-player deal that you kind of look at. That's really it, though. I mean, I just don't see a team that wants to absorb Kristaps' salary and the player that he currently is and has been over the last couple of seasons. Pivot to this question from Timberwolf Taylor 13. NBA teams most likely to go into a full rebuild. Okay, teams on the brink right now who might just say, let's blow it up. I mean, I think the Pistons are there. I don't think the Pelicans are there, but if they trade Zion, that could be a reason for them to tank. OKC is already going into full rebuild mode. They're trying to see their way out of it, but they're going to be rebuilding over the next couple of seasons. So too are the Orlando Magic. So teams like that are really being forced to rebuild. And it's going to take both of those franchises, or all of those franchises, I should say, a little while. Steve Peterson, no one can get in a bidding war over picks with OKC. Their GMs need a raise. For real, though. There's no doubt about it. I mean, like, at this point, why even trade any picks to the Oklahoma City Thunder? Like, it's almost funny because over the next, 5 to 7 years, when they have this Brinks truck of picks, Sam Presti is going to, like, make every single pick in the first round one of these years, virtually. It's flat out ridiculous. So, at this point, I'm not even making a trade with Sam Presti. He's good. Vincent Sorletti, thanks, my guy. What's going to happen to Ben Simmons after this season? So we're recording this during our live show on Friday. If Ben Simmons and the Sixers go out and go down in Game 6, and they go down in ugly fashion and they show no spirit, they show no fight or no toughness, I think the Sixers look to trade him. Now, Sixers fans are already looking to get rid of Ben Simmons, but the problem is they haven't been able to find him because he's been missing this entire series, and Sixers fans went as far as posting missing persons posters around the city for Ben Simmons. It's crazy, but I do think he gets dealt if the Sixers go down in this series. Blinky, name your top 5 coaches in the NBA. It's a good question. I think Eric Spoelstra is the best. Greg Popovich still. Nick Nurse, he's right up there as well. I'll tell you this. Ty Lue has made some masterful adjustments in the NBA playoffs. I think he deserves to be on that list. Those are 4. What's another one? Monty Williams has done a phenomenal job. Like, this isn't based on track record. This is right now. Those are my top 5 guys right now in this current moment. Jason Kreider, Porzingis to the Pacers for Myles Turner. It's actually not terrible. The contracts don't really match up, though. Porzingis is on the books for like $30+ million over the next couple of seasons. Myles Turner, on the other hand, he's nowhere near that expensive, nor is he worth it. Now, from the Mavericks standpoint, if they can get rid of that salary and bring in Myles Turner, I actually think that's a pretty good deal because Mark Cuban has talked about the rift that currently exists and has existed between Porzingis as well as Luka Doncic. So if Luka wants Porzingis gone, get rid of him. In terms of Myles Turner's contract, nowhere near Kristaps Porzingis. In fact, it's about half. Next 2 years, $17.5 million is his base salary. My Honda got totaled. I hope you're okay. Should the Warriors consider trading Wiggins and Kelly Oubre this offseason? So Wiggins could be traded because he's currently under contract. His contract also north of $30 million. Kelly Oubre would have to be a sign and trade because Kelly Oubre is going to be a free agent. A lot of people have floated that possibility of maybe a Kelly Oubre sign and trade to the Mavericks for Kristaps Porzingis. Not sure I'd do that deal, but that can't happen unless there is a sign and trade involved because Kelly Oubre is going to be an unrestricted free agent and he can sign elsewhere. Knicks, a team that is definitely interested in him. Do you think the Warriors should make a big trade this upcoming offseason to continue to build around Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and hopefully Klay Thompson once he comes back from the Achilles and ACL injuries? Type P for please, Warriors, please make a big trade. Type C for nah, they're content. Get your votes in right now. Nola Pelicans fan, should the Pelicans trade their pick to get a better center like Myles Turner? Maybe. I don't think so. I mean, the Pelicans, I think you use that pick to draft like a shooter to surround Zion Williamson. Myles Turner is a solid center, but I am maintaining that pick at the back half of the lottery to really pick a player who can make Zion Williamson happy and our team better. Do appreciate that question, though. If you want to talk ball, talk hoops, talk NBA, and chop it up with me, or you didn't get your question answered on today's live show, be sure to hit me up, give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I made it very easy for all of you, simply. It is the same handle on both social media platforms. Give me a like, a follow. My DMs are open right now. Hit me up, and let's talk some ball. Also, make sure you're subscribed to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel because here on NBA Now, we go live every single Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, bringing you the latest news and rumors around the NBA. On today's live show, we gave you our latest NBA mock draft. We did 2 mailbags. Basically, anything that happens across the entire NBA, we will go live and talk about it. So subscribe by going to youtube.com/chatsportstv and turn on those notifications. Therefore, anytime we push out a video, anytime we go live, you will be notified.